talked about Brentford in my Premier League weekend review, but I don't think I talked about them enough, So make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And let's get straight into it because Brentford really, really impressed me. I know last season they had a very good season, but this season already they have impressed me. That game against Spurs, and a lot of people are talking about Spurs, talking about how they're not good enough, how talking about, but just giving criticism to Spurs. But in reality, I think we need to give all the props to Brentford because they just broke them down. They broke Spurs down. They knew that Spurs want to play out the back. So what they do, they play high press, intense press. Their press in that first half was amazing. It was so smart. It was so fast. It was so intense. It would really caught my eye. And sometimes when you think about teams that are like mid-table teams, with all due respect, sometimes when you think about these type of teams like Brentford, you think about hardcore. You think about just fighting for every ball, fighting for every duel, winning every duel. Being a hard body, right? But you look at this Brentford team and they're so good on the ball. They're so good at impressing you. They're so good at moving the ball around. They're so good to playing out the back. Like they are a very, very good technical team. They're a very good physical team. They're a very good team all around. And there's a lot of players in there that I really like. Sangare, he was highly rated before he got to Brentford. But then the performance he put in against Tonali, against Bergvall, against Conor Gallagher, like the performance Sangare put out, and then alongside him, Jensen. Jensen is he's already one of my favorite midfielders. I would like technical, very good midfielders that are very good on the ball, very forward thinking, know what they're doing, and Jensen is that. He's so good. And you think of their bench as well. You think of their bench. They still have Dansgaard. They have Jaden Anthony. They have Wilson. Like these are players that could start for other Premier League sides. And they just announced Diouf. Diouf is a left back I rate very highly. When West Ham went down, I thought other teams would go for him. I was looking at Liverpool could go for Diouf. Yeah, I was looking at Man United. Chelsea lost Cucurella, and I feel like they could have gone for Diouf as well, even as a left wing back. I feel like he'd be very good for Chelsea, but no, Brentford ended up getting them because the other team didn't go for him. I don't understand why, but I really don't understand why. I really don't. But Diouf, the crosses he's gonna put into Igor Thiago, his crosses are so good. They're so quick, but they're accurate. They always go to where the player is meant to be. And then Igor Thiago leading the lines for Brentford. He didn't score the goal. I know he missed the penalty, but just the way he plays the game, the way he plays and thinks the game. They would sometimes when Brentford they weren't able to play out the back. Because sometimes you see a lot of teams they try and play out the back, they get pressed and they lose the ball right away. Like the Fulham, right? Like the Fulham game. Fulham would just kept trying to play out the back. Chelsea would press them. They would the ball and they would create chances, right? But no, what Brentford would do is if they saw there was no chance, if they saw Spurs were pressing too much, or if they saw that Spurs were getting too close to winning the ball, they would just put it up to Igor Thiago. And what does Igor Thiago do? He doesn't just win the headers, but he would chest it down to the next player. He would chest it down to Shade. He would chest it down to Ouattara. Like he was so good in winning the ball and keeping control of it. Because what does that do? That pushes Brentford's team forward. Sometimes sometimes strikers win the headers and the ball goes nowhere, or sometimes they would just win the duels, but maybe win a foul. But the thing about Igor Thiago is he could win a foul and slow down the play that way, or he could win the ball and chest it down to his wing players, chest it down to his midfielders. Igor Thiago's job in that team is so important, and it makes sense why Nottingham Forest were interested in him. You know why? Because he does a lot of what Mateta did for Crystal Palace under Oliver Glasner. Right, he would win the ball up, bring the team up. But Igor Thiago, I think, he does it way better than Mateta. I know Mateta had a good season under Oliver Glasner too. I think it was last season, no, 2 seasons ago. But the way Igor Thiago does it, it's so smooth, it's so slick, And I think I really like when they just give it to him and he chests it down. He's fighting his center backs, he's pushing them around and then he's chested down to his wide players, And I just think they have a very, very good team. And I'm talking about the players. I keep talking about Sangare. They have a World Cup, a Norway center back, a World Cup international, and I think alongside Nathan Collins, I think it just works perfectly. Like Ajay is like I said, he's a Norway international. He's a center back that played. I'm pretty sure he played all 5 games that they played. So that just shows the levels of how good this Brentford team is. You have Coyote at right back, who I thought Liverpool was gonna go for him. I thought Man United were gonna go for him. I thought there was more players or teams that were gonna go for him. Coyote for me is one of the best right backs in the league. Malik Diouf for me is one of the best left backs in the league. I'm not saying top two, right? But possibly they could end up being there. Like you look at Coyote and you look at Diouf. That's a better fullback pairing than Liverpool's fullback pairing. That's a better fullback pairing than Man United's fullback pairing. And you look at other teams, and you look at Newcastle's is probably, Newcastle is probably still better. But you look at the top teams like Man United, like Liverpool. These are teams that everyone is saying, oh, if Arsenal drop off, they should be there to get to get the prem, right? But no, you look at fullback at Brentford. Brentford has better fullbacks, in my opinion. Brentford has a more balanced midfield than those two teams that I said. So it's this Brentford team has really got me excited. If you're a Brentford fan, let me know what you guys think. Let me know how much you agree with me. But um, I've been talking about the players. I've been talking about Igor Thiago. I've been talking about Jensen, Sangare, Ajay, Nathan Collins, the fullbacks of Coyote and the new signing of Diop. They have Potter there. But all of this, I need to give just props and give just the merit to Keith Andrews, because what Keith Andrews has done to this team is amazing. Because I never saw this Brentford team under Thomas Frank playing the way they play. Yes, they were winning. Yes, they were beating teams. Yes, they were counterattacking teams in very good manners. But man, the way they're playing under Keith Andrews, he has them playing under kind of like prime Barcelona in moments, right? Like, yes, I know I'm exaggerating, but this team has me excited a lot. The way the patterns of play that they pass, they move the ball forward. They see that this side is too congested, they pass it back and switch the play real quickly. Watara, the way he connects with Coyote, just the way that he has the team playing is not something that you would see under Thomas Frank. Thomas Frank was very pragmatic, very defend and then counterattack. But what Brentford wants to do is keep control of the game, keep possession of the game. Control all sectors of all sectors, all facets of the game. Keith Andrews, the way he has been playing on the ball, off the ball, winning duels, passing the ball, passing and moving, the patterns of play, the way I need to give Keith Andrews a lot of props, because I feel like myself, alongside of 99% of people who were predicting the Premier League last season, I thought they would go down. They lost a lot of players. They lost their manager, who at that time was probably their best manager in history because of what he had done with them. Thomas Frank, what he did with them, keeping them, giving them, promoting them to the Prem, and then keeping in the Prem. Thomas Frank, what he did for them. Then I think they had lost. They lost play. They lost a lot of players. They lost the captain in Northgard. They lost their right wing. They lost their striker. They lost a lot of players that everyone thought it was over for Brentford. It was over for them. They lost Mbumo, who has scored 20 goals. They lost other players. They lost their captains. But then you look at what Keith Andrews has done to this team. I just think it's 10 times better than that Brentford that was under Thomas Frank. And yes, it's maybe one game, and maybe they weren't playing to this high of a level last season, but just the things I'm seeing, the players I'm seeing, the style of play that I'm seeing, I think it's very, very important that we give this Brentford props, because you look at the team, you look at the way they play, you look at Keith Andrews, you look at the new signings they've done. They could get European positions this season. You look at the way Spurs looked already. You look at the way Man United look, how unbalanced they look already with when they lost to the whole city. You look at other teams like Liverpool, who look kind of shaky in moments, who need 3-4 signings to be really solidify themselves in those positions. There's nothing. You look at Aston Villa, who got fifth place last year, or fourth or fifth place last year. And you look the way they've started. You look the players they've lost. You look at players that they haven't signed. Brentford could very well challenge for positions in European positions. Champions League, maybe they can. Who the thing is, Brentford are so solid. Like they have a floor. Brentford has a floor, and I don't think their floor is past seventh place or eighth place. I don't think they'll get lower than eighth or seventh place. The way they're looking, the players they have under Keith Andrews, just the whole environment around Brentford. They're collaborating. They're very good when it comes to the social media aspect as well. They're very good at promoting what Brentford is, and I've seen a lot of like you other football YouTubers talk about Brentford. Oh, they're not they don't deserve to be in the top 10. They're meant to be a second half team, 10th or lower. They shouldn't be in the top 10. They're not the type of team that should be in the top 10. But you look at the way the club is being run. You look at the players they're going for. You look at the manager and the way he has been playing. You look at just the players they bring in, their scouting. You look at the way Brentford is run. I think they very well could be a top six team this season, And you look at other teams that usually have very well run systems, right? You look at Brian; they are very well run. The way everything is run, the machine runs so perfectly. They look at youngsters of outside of Europe, they bring it into Brian and they make it run, right? But the thing that Brentford is doing, they're bringing inexperience. They're bringing some of the best options they can. Sangare was one of the best options in Europe, and Brentford took them in. You look at Diouf; he was one of the best options in Europe as a left back, and they brought him in. So they're doing signings. It's not just like random signings, picking up from South America, picking it up from North America, picking up from Africa, from Asia. They're not doing this, right. They're signing players that make sense for them. They're signing players that fit what they're trying to build. It's a very planned project, and I think what Brentford have going on right now is very exciting. They're a team that I'm gonna keep up with, right? I know I made a video announcing that I'm gonna follow Chelsea and Fulham this season, like closely following them. But I might have to do the same for Brentford because it's not just the way they beat. It's not just that they beat Spurs 3-0 because like we've seen teams do that before, but just the way they beat Spurs. The style, the fashion, the way just how exciting they're looking, how good, not just exciting but good, composed, exciting, fun, entertaining. I'm looking forward to Brentford this season. I truly believe they could challenge for Europe, maybe even for that fifth spot. I'm very excited to see what they could do. Igor Thiago didn't get his goal, but I'm pretty sure he'll bang in a couple of goals. Damsgaard didn't even play. I think they beat Birmingham in the cup 6-1. Like they have players. They have players. Damsgaard didn't even play much in that Spurs game. You look at Ouattara getting back used to Brentford, getting used to this new style. I think he's a player that could do very well for them. You look at Sangare for Brentford. You look at Jensen. They have the players. They have the players. I think they could do very well. And yeah, I'm excited for Brentford. So if you're a Brentford fan, let me know how excited you guys are. Let me know where you think you could finish this season in the Prem. Let me know if you think you could challenge for the Champions League. Just give me your overall thoughts on Brentford and let me know how excited you are. Because man, as a neutral Premier League fan, I'm very excited for this Brentford team. So make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and let me know what you think.